Hi, my name is Mark Williams. I'm a professional, I guess you'd call me a professional inventor. I've developed product for 26 years. Made my living doing that. So. Just the creation part of it, to be able to create things that, in a sense, have never existed before. To just solve problems, I suppose, would be the best way to put it. Rejection, by far, is easily the worst part of it. After you invent something, you have to sell it. And if you don't have a thick skin when it comes to sales and rejection, you're gonna suffer. There's a lot of theories with that. I would say over the years that I've encountered, one of them being mechanical engineering. Others would be intellectual property attorney, intellectual property involvement. So maybe you're, training through school for that. I would say really sales background is really a good way to start. I think if you don't have sales background or sales mentality, I would say don't get into the business. Don't go down that road. I've seen a lot of really good ideas over the years, but the sales aspect of the sales, I should say, the sales talent or the sales ability is kind of few and far between. I think I would have. I spent a lot of time in my early career not vetting manufacturers, vendors, things like that as well as I should have. It cost me a lot of money early on in my career. I think the other part is really understanding some of the strategies around product development or invention. So engineering strategies, how you do that, how you use the engineering, some of the engineering assets that you have around you can go see, and then intellectual property strategy is another one that is something that you should kind of be aware of and know a lot about going into it. I didn't know anything about either one of those going into it, so I had to self-taught. So it spent a lot of time, probably a lot of money along the way for the first probably 10 years, really learning those two aspects of the job. I graduated from high school and I went on to junior college. So I went for 3 years to a junior college, two different junior colleges, and did not end up with an AA, but I took a lot of business classes, some marketing classes, things like that. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have any direction, and I never really could latch on to anything that I just felt like I could put all my energies and efforts behind. So I just kind of drifted around. And as a result, I ended up with a full-time job, and I just decided to abandon school at that time. But if I ever thought about it, if I ever thought there was something I really could find a focus in, to come back to it and go back to school, but I just never did. So. It was really, I worked in a warehouse, and I had always grown up looking at things that you could improve, how to improve things, kind of problem solving. And there were several things in the warehouse that were done the same way they had been done for 25 years. And I got to the point where I was really trying to work my way out of the warehouse, and basically the only way I could see I could do that was selling some of my own products, things that inventions or innovations that I had of my own So I started putting together some people that could help me, engineers and things like that, to build the very first product that sort of got me out of the warehouse. But at the end of the day, it was just taking the leap from problem solving as what I would call an amateur to problem solving as a professional. I'm just a professional problem solver in many ways. So. There's a lot of aspects. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to fail in what I do. And part of it's dependent upon the product, and part of it's dependent on the person. I think if you have a bad product to start with, in other words, it may solve a problem, but it's not a problem that a lot of people suffer from, or it's a very narrow issue in a very small amount of the population struggles with it. It's a very small marketplace, so to speak. So that's going to lend itself to failure. The other part of it is, on a personal part, if someone is not tenacious enough, if they don't take that product and start to really walk it through the very processes you need to get to the point where you can actually offer it to someone, it's going to fail. And then after everything's said and done, there's the aspect of cost versus sales price. There is manufacturing costs, all sorts of different things that you have to overcome. And then the part about what we talked about before, sales, that really is a huge part of it. If you can't sell the product, if you are not personally able to sell the product, then you're going to struggle. It's going to be a struggle all the way. I personally epically failed, actually. When I first started in business, I had three partners, and we started building a very large piece of equipment to wash and dry plastic containers. And I did every aspect of that, manufacturing and sales and everything else. And we had no idea what we were doing. And the biggest problem that we had the Achilles heel of the whole operation was we did not know what our costs were. In other words, if you built a birdhouse, let's say, and you sold it for 50 cents, but it cost you $1.50 to build, well, then you're not going to be in business for very long. So you need to know that number. You need to know what that birdhouse costs you. So in this case, we didn't know. We ended up selling a whole bunch of them and losing right around $250,000. And at the time, that was the only job that I had. I was late 20s. The only asset that I had to my name was our house that had appreciated in value. We sold our house to pay off that debt, and I still suffered from that debt until 2006 was really the last time when I really got out of that debt. So it took me a long time to recover from that. Not that the equipment, again, here's the unique part about this, the interesting part about this is, it's not that the product wasn't good, because it was really good. The problem was the combination of partnerships, the combination of how we put it together, the combination of it. We didn't know what it cost us, so when we sold it, we had no idea if we were making money or not. And so as a result, it was a fiasco. And it took me a lot of years to recover from that. But I also learned a tremendous amount too. So what's been happening lately for me is large companies are moving away from, I guess you'd call it, research and development departments in large companies. It seems like a lot of them are moving away from that. So they're looking for outside talent to bring in new products and things like that. Of late, probably about a year and a half ago, I signed a development agreement with a $400 million company. And so I'm developing product for them to put on retail shelves. It's a unique opportunity because all I really have to do is come up with the product. The rest is up to them to build the infrastructure around the product, the sales around the product, the manufacturing, all those different things. I just come up with a new product for them. So if I had anything I wanted to do in the future, I could wave my magic wand, that would be it. Would be to just develop product for companies, or a company or two companies or something, several companies to develop product for them. So I have to design, manufacture, and sell in order to pay a mortgage or whatever else. So very often in my career over the years, I bet a huge amount of money in the future of financial future of myself and my family on a product or two products or something like that. And then there's once you get all that done, it's not all that glamorous, so you have to go out now and sell it. You've got to sell it, whether it's selling it to an individual person who's going to buy it or selling it to a company that maybe would want to buy the whole business or anything else. It's all about sales. It's all about selling yourself, selling your product. If you're not willing and can't do that, then there's no reason to even start down that road. So. Out of 10, probably rated 8 right now. There was times where I would have rated it a 1.5 or 2.